Oh, well. Hey, and welcome to Sister Strong, a podcast about possible. My name is Betsy Wiersma. This podcast and video series is our way to share ideas and insights and people and places and things to uplift and support you as we stand together, Sister Strong. These are ideas for your toolkit, things to think about now or in the future to aid your journey to health and happiness. Today, Jayne Evert's on the call, and we're talking travel. Welcome, Jayne.
Hello, everyone.
Well, we're talking travel because as we sit in our basements, all we can think about is, when are we going to get out of this stinking place? I don't know about you, but that's what I'm saying.
I know I am.
Well, as we respect the travel ban, I thought we would talk to you a little bit about you and your business, Travel with Jayne, how you got into the business, why you have a passion for travel. And then I want to talk about some current events, like things about traveling now, and also dream about future events, because that's where I'm going to put my energy, is where can I finally go? So let's start with, will you go back and tell a little bit about your journey and how you got into the travel business?
Okay, well, I got, when I was first married, I'm on my second marriage and last marriage, but when I first was divorced back in, I don't even remember what year it was, but I decided that I needed to get out and travel and do what I was really deep down meant to do, which was travel to New Zealand. I thought that was a good starting point. It was before the internet. I got on a plane, went to Auckland, and walked down the city street and went into a backpacker kind of place. And this guy sat down with me and planned out my next 3 weeks and had the most amazing. I just can't describe just how magical that trip was. And then a year later, I think it was, I went to Antarctica. I had lost both my parents 13 months from each other, one at Thanksgiving and then the following year at Christmas time. So I was looking for an escape after getting divorced and all of that. So I went to Antarctica to get away from my problems, and I met I met some of the most amazing people, and one of them turned out to be a lifelong friend now. We've been friends for 25 years, and her name is Anna. She was from England, and I think I've now passed 20 times visiting England. And I've had a lot of journeys since that Antarctic and New Zealand trip, and I just can't get enough. So I had needed it to work for me. And so here I am.
Well, it's interesting that you said, that the journeys really were part of your life growth and your life development, because I too have been blessed to travel as a speaker in the world. And for so many years, went alone to Australia or New Zealand. And I just believed that I could, even though in my family, we never really had the money to travel much past Lake of the Ozarks. And I was from
Yeah,
Indianapolis. That was the
yeah,
big vacation. My
yeah.
parents played golf, and we got stuck in a motorhome with the kids of the other golfers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we did not have extravagant vacations growing up, but my speaking
Yeah.
career has taken me to about 20 countries. And there's nothing like being, I think, and you might share this, being in the world with yourself and just knowing you can figure it out. I mean, I think that that was
Absolutely.
really a confidence builder. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I'm very shy and introverted when I'm at home, but when I go somewhere where you plant your feet firmly in the ground and you forward momentum, and the excitement is just it's like a high almost. I had so much fun going to New Zealand, and back then no one knew where New Zealand was, and so I had a lot of fun with telling people I was going on vacation. Where are you going? New Zealand. And they would look at me like, and that's where?
Yeah,
And
really.
then the second question was, who are you going with? And I said, myself. And they said, you mean by yourself? And I would always say yes.
Yes. Well, I agree. So that's one really cool thing. I'm so glad to have you in the Camp Experience Network with Travel with Jayne, because so many people that I know are now getting to be very active 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, and they do have the time. They do have more freedom. They do have the resources. Some of them want to travel with their husbands. Others of us want to travel with our girlfriends. And, I think there's nothing like those adventures. And so that's why I always said I wish I knew you years ago to help me,
Yeah.
because I've been navigating this. So you have Travel with Jayne now. Let's do a couple current event things. So we are sitting here almost April 1st. There's a lot of travel restrictions worldwide because of the global pandemic. Oh, just a little thing, a global pandemic. So, so there probably are some pretty good tips. I know that we've called you and you've shared some. So if you are traveling now, immediately, let's say the months of April and May, what are some tips? And then if you're traveling later in the year, tell some people some timely things they might want to consider.
Right. Well, if you do have travel plans right now and you have travel insurance, do not cancel, because you would be basing your cancellation out of fear alone. They are treating things as triage. If you are not traveling within the next 72 hours, they ask you to wait. And if you are working with a certain supplier, then they are looking at dates. Like one of our suppliers, for example, are looking at travelers through the end of May. So if you do have plans further out, then those will be addressed as the time goes by, because unfortunately the news is changing day by day and every supplier is addressing every situation a little bit differently. So
Yeah. So, and I know I had two trips. So one was to Norway and back through Paris, and we were able to get something they created called cash points on Norwegian Air, which is kind of like, think like, just points to exchange for a future flight, which
right.
works for us because, for most of us that's traveling, we wanted to go. It's
Yeah,
not that we made some nasty trip we didn't want. I want to go to Norway and Paris. So we have cash points on Norwegian, and we have a hotel that has said we can change the dates with
correct.
a non-refundable deposit instead of just sticking us for the deposit.
Well, for future travel, you do want to look at the hotel policy and make sure that you are choosing a hotel that does have cancellation free up to 24 hours, possibly. Those non-refundables can get you. And as far as traveling on your airfare, they are offering travel vouchers. They are not uh, charging you a change fee. Yeah, and then there's also, you have to consider the cost of the plane ticket at the time that you purchase, that when you rebook, there will be a change in price. It might be lower, it might be higher, but
Right.
those are things to consider when you're making those future travel plans.
Yes, I know. That's why I said I wish I had known you. I just got those non-refundable reservations, and then I met you, and I was like, darn,
No,
I
yeah,
messed that up. I will not do it again, though, because you will be making them for me. Um,
absolutely.
Also, too, another thing that I think you told me, just to reiterate, is don't cancel your flight. Let the flight be canceled by the
Yeah.
airlines.
Oh,
Talk
yes.
about that a little bit.
Yes, that's a good point, because you do need to watch it, because they will, if they cancel that flight for the reasons of the virus, not because of you, then it will, it, well, it, how do I explain this? The, if you try to cancel it, you will not get your money back. You will get a travel voucher if the flight cancels on its own. And if you're not proactive about that, then you will be considered a no-show. And how do I explain this? Every airline is different, so it's best to call me or talk to the airline directly
Right. But the key
to
is,
really
I
understand.
think, just to tell the general rule is take a breath. We are just at April 1st. If you're traveling past the end of May, take a breath. Let the May people get figured out. Let's see where the world is, hopefully a better place. And then look at your individual airline reservations, your individual hotel reservations to see what the cancellation or change policies are, and have grace to the poor, nice people answering the phone when you
And you
call.
said that much better than I did.
Because, well, I'm just interpreting kind of what you were saying.
Yes,
And
it's
then go ahead.
oh, well, and it's just that airlines, they need to have their reasons for canceling that flight, and it will not be put upon you
Right.
to do
And
that.
we won't, so it's best when it's outside of our control, then our insurance
Exactly.
can kick in instead of us canceling. And then,
Exactly.
that would just be, they have to have those policies. If we as the consumer cancel, then of course it's on us, because this isn't all set up only for the
Absolutely.
coronavirus. This is set up for the world and how travel works. So,
Exactly.
and I just say, again, grace to everyone in the travel industry. No one ever said, on my 2020 vision board, I think I'll have a global
I know.
pandemic. We said, hey, I'm going to go to Norway and Paris with my sisters, and I'm going to go to Africa. Okay, that's me.
Yes.
So I'm still hoping we go to Africa in July, but something about a billion locusts. But I digress. So
Yes.
let's talk about the future, because one thing I always look forward to is when I have travel on my calendar, that is always such a bright light. And I know lots of people use travel to celebrate not only weddings and anniversaries, but family reunions and milestones in your family. And, all of us even going to see our family after being held apart for so long. So as we start to book for the future, I'd like everyone to call you, contact you, and get started now, even doing some research, so you can kind of help them plan ahead. So as we're planning past June, July, what are some of the fun things that people have done with you with travel, with groups and stuff? And then let's, at the end, dream of some fun locations that maybe we can all go.
Right. Well, the Spain has been a hot item lately. I have a group going to Cancun in the summer, and then I've got a family going to Antarctica for Christmas. And then I've got a smorgasbord of clients, and then I have one in Egypt, because I don't know if anyone really knows this, but Egypt, they keep pushing the date out, and boy, with this virus, I'm sure the date has been pushed out even farther. But there is a museum in Cairo coming out. Oh, I've just spaced on the name of it, but they're going to be having 26,000 artifacts on display in Egypt that have never been seen by anyone. It was supposed to be coming at the end of 2020. I keep trying to stay on top of the date for that. But aside from Cairo, the Greek Isles, I have been researching a lot of that lately for a client, and I was going to be going myself here in June, and maybe I will, I'm not sure. But what I have found really interesting about that is that is a fantastic destination for special anniversaries, milestones. The yacht that I'm going on has 8 people, and it's actually quite affordable compared to what you would expect a 7-day cruise with 4,000 people on board. It's really quite affordable, and I'm really excited to take part in that. So the Hawaiian Islands, the Sea of Cortez with uncruise vacations, there's just so many options out there that go well beyond what you can find on Expedia, and that's what travel agents bring value to destinations of your choice. And dreaming is a perfect thing to be doing right now.
Well, I loved it when you told us that, the world's only seeing 35% of all the travel options on the booking.coms and the Expedias, and that you as a professional travel agent have access to just so much more, and that we can save all the money we would be thinking that we're saving. We actually can save that because your fees are covered. Talk about how you are paid so that people understand why
Oh,
booking with a travel agent is a great idea.
absolutely. Travel agents do have a choice, and there is value in charging a planning fee. But for myself, I like the referral, so that's how I pay it forward with not charging a planning fee. That's my own personal choice. I am a lateral move from Expedia. Expedia gets paid the way I get paid, which is on the back end, it's always money reserved. And like if you were to book directly with a hotel, that money set aside in that the hotel or the airline, the package, there's always a little bit of money set aside. And if it doesn't go to the travel agent, it gets absorbed right back into the supplier that you're working with. So that's how I get paid, is just how Expedia gets paid. And so there's really no reason not to reach out to a travel agent, because the main difference between us and Expedia or other OTAs is that I am there for you in the planning stage and all the way to when you get back home from your trip, and then we plan on the next one. And as I build on my relationship with you, then I know what your preferences are. Do you like to sit by the window, or do you like to be on the aisle seat? Oh, that hotel, I don't know if you'd really like that because it's in a busy part of the town, so let's put you over here on this side. And then I've got just a vast amount of resources to take from, where if I don't know, like say Thailand, for example, I've been to Thailand, but if you're looking to be down on the coast in Thailand, I know some areas that an expert can tell me to navigate you to a region that is more family friendly rather than the one that you think you might want to go to. Yeah, no, if you're traveling with your 6-year-old,
Yeah.
that's not where you need to be.
Yeah, see,
That's the
that
kind of
inside scoop,
information.
that's priceless, really, because
Yes,
just as someone who's traveled a lot, it's the mistakes that you accidentally make, right? Like my
yes.
non-refundable hotel room, but also just that someone that's an expert like you can help us. So Jayne, will you tell
Sure.
everyone how to reach Travel with Jayne? How do they find you?
Absolutely. Well, I have my own website called gotravelwithjayne.com. You can write me at gotravelwithjayne@gmail.com. My name is spelled with a Y, so you're going to have to remember that, unfortunately. But that's JAYNE.com.
There you go. And so now all of you, you have a homework assignment. Number one, if you are traveling, you know kind of some tips and tricks what to do right now, but also the big homework assignment is to start to dream now with Jayne. What will it be that you have as a bright light at the end of your tunnel of being in your basement with all of your stuff for a long time? And what will it be that will be your future great memory with your family, with your best girlfriends, with your camp sisters, with whoever you are lucky enough to travel
And
with?
I can't wait to talk about actually doing it rather than dreaming it. But we got to dream first, and then we'll fly out later. And my phone number is on your website, correct? On the
Correct.
Camp
You
Connections?
can
Yeah.
always
So
find
my, yeah,
Jayne in the speaker area of the campexperience.com on the speaker page. And then Megan will put all this here on the podcast page and the video page.
fantastic.
So
All
thank
right.
you, Jayne, and thank all of you for listening to Sister Strong, a podcast and video series about possible. As your host, Betsy Wiersma, my job is to just introduce you to wonderful people and places and things and ideas and education and inspiration and connections as we dream together and stand together, sister strong for health and happiness. We are going to travel again soon.
Yes, we sure
I
are.
know we are, and Jayne's going to help us put together some awesome Camp
Yeah.
Sister packages, as well as packages for you and your family. And again, she is paid by the resort. She is paid by the people that pay Expedia. So you get Jayne instead of just getting a website. And I'm telling you, Jayne's a lot better than some stinky website.
Actually, because you don't want to get in trouble on your trip, or, just if you run into trouble, you can call me and I can get you out of that stuck situation.
There you go. See?
Yes.
So that is how that works. So thank you for listening today. Please share this video series and podcast with others that can be uplifted and loved and helped by our wonderful Camp Experience Network for good. We're part of the Global Sisterhood Podcast Network, Women on Purpose. Thank you
All right.
again
Thank you,
for watching
Betsy.
and listening. I'm your host, Betsy Wiersma.